ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, we're checking out a film from 2008. That movie is The Happening. Now, The Happening is a movie written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. My history with M. Night Shyamalan on this series has been rather poor at best. I've covered two films which had his name attached to them as either writer, director, or both. And I hated both of those. This thing is essentially his last chance to win me over. And I wish I could give you any kind of information about The Happening. Unfortunately, I don't know if anything I would say may possibly spoil the twist at the end of this one. You see, Shyamalan, those of you who don't know, according to what I've been told, M. Night Shyamalan is a wannabe Alfred Hitchcock who loves to throw twists at the end of all of his films because Hitchcock did it, except Hitchcock put effort into it. Shyamalan apparently doesn't. So, I don't know what the hell I'm getting into here. The only thing I can tell you is that the movie stars Mark fucking Wahlberg. That's the only bit of information I can give you without potentially spoiling any possible twist this thing will probably and almost certainly have at the end of the film. I don't know if this thing is going to be any good at all. I really have no earthly clue. The only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play. And I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out The Happening. I understand, guys, we're still pretty early in the movie, but there's something I just cannot shake. None of this dialogue sounds natural. We have here a bunch of actors who I know can act, and they are struggling to get this shit to work. There is no natural flow to a single word written in this film so far. My God, I certainly hope that gets better, but so far I have no reason to care about any of these characters, because none of them have any personality, and they all sound like aliens who've been on Earth for about 12 hours. It's pretty fucking bad so far, guys. Well, guys, it's been about a minute, but there's still something that's just bugging the shit out of me. So, just a minute ago, John Leguizamo's character was involved in a car wreck. The Jeep he was riding in plowed into a tree. Leguizamo is the only one who seemed to have survived the wreck. He was sitting in the front seat. Everyone else apparently is dead. I don't know how the fuck someone sitting in the passenger seat who was sitting in a goofy position trying to talk to someone in the back seat, I don't know how the hell he lived. The worst part about it, before the crash, I noticed who was driving the car. The guy driving the car was played by Brian O'Halloran. He played Dante in Clerks. We could have had more of him. I love his fucking work. I've seen him in a bunch of movies. The guy's really decent. He didn't get any fucking dialogue, and he plows into a fucking tree. That's bullshit, man. And yet still, Leguizamo's character, as lifeless and irritating as he is, gets to fucking live. Because reasons. I'm not liking this, guys. So, guys, it's come to this. Mark Wahlberg is talking to a plastic plant. No, I'm not joking. That just happened. He talked to a plastic plant, essentially asking it for mercy. That's pretty fucking sad. I really wish, guys, I could say anything else about this movie, but I really can't. This thing is just so fucking boring. I really hope that this thing picks up and actually gets interesting in the final act, but I really don't think it's going to. You guys want to know what I would like in this movie? There's just one thing I want. I just want one likable character. Just one. Hell, it doesn't even have to be a likable character. I want a character with some personality. Some, well, hopefully likable personality, but goddamn it, why the hell is every character in this film so lifeless and bland? Why the hell does no one have any real personality to speak of? Why is every character boring as fuck? Holy shit, man. I was hoping for at least something here, but this movie's giving me absolutely jack shit. I have no reason to care about any of these characters, and every single time a new character comes in, I cringe a little bit, because I know that we are in for another unlikable, worthless douchebag. Please, just... The movie's got less than 20 minutes left, roughly. Hopefully we'll get something between now and the end of the film. Someone likable, somebody we can actually relate to. If we don't, then this movie's a lifeless waste. And if not, then why didn't we focus on a likable character sooner? No, basically, guys, no matter which way we go, this thing fucking sucks. Well, guys, that was The Happening. Fucking A. That was The Happening. Okay, I'm going to touch on something, because this really pissed me off at the end of the film. Well, two things pissed me off about the end of the film. Besides the fact that at the very end, and I guess this here is kind of sort of the twist, so spoiler alert for anyone who cares, they basically redo the opening scene, but now it's in Paris. So, I guess The Happening is going to be happening all over again in Paris, France, because fuck you, nature. And that right there, I think, is the biggest problem I had, was when the movie was all said and done, there was zero attempt to actually explain why anything in this movie happened. There was zero attempt to explain why people are suddenly spazzing out and killing themselves. There were a whole lot of theories posited, the biggest one being that it is the plants, it's the trees and the flowers and the grass all rising up and taking out humans because it's a force of nature. Science cannot possibly explain forces of nature, i.e. fuck you because nature, which to me doesn't fucking work, okay? Scientists can explain a lot of shit in nature. Scientists are not just going to go, well, I don't know, it's fucking nature, who cares, it's nature. And yet this movie has scientists going on news shows going, well, we don't know because it's nature, and nature works in strange ways. No, fucker, you are thinking of faith. Religion has no answer for shit because God works in strange ways. No. Nature usually has some kind of a proper flow that scientists are able to look at and figure out. There was zero attempt at that here. In fact, we don't even know why the plants are freaking out and taking out humans. We don't know if they're rising up because of all of the bees, vanishing. We don't know if it's because of the nuclear power plants. We don't know if it's... And all of these are brought up. All of these are brought up as potential things. And then the other one is just, well... just because it's nature, and nature can't be possibly explained, i.e. fuck you, nature. No. Probably. This probably wouldn't have been so bad if we had an actual threat we could focus on. Alright, if we had an actual threat in the movie we could focus on. For instance, Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. There isn't even an attempt to explain why the birds are rising up and freaking out on people. But the fact of the matter is, you still have a viable, interesting threat in the birds. There was even an attempt with that, with the far inferior birdemic shock and terror, which at least attempted to explain that the birds are probably flipping out because of pollution, and that at least kind of made sense. At least they posited a theory and they stuck with it. This thing here, Shyamalan, the stupid pinheaded dickless fucker who wrote this thing, essentially threw a whole bunch of shit at the fucking wall, hoping and praying for some of it to fucking stick, and none of it did. So it basically is now up to you. It's now up to you, the viewer. Do you happen to think it was just nature rising up against man for no other reason than shits and fucking giggles? Do you happen to think it was because of all the power plants in the, Northeast, and that's why it targeted only the Northeast? Why did it only target the Northeast? There is no explanation for that. Oh yeah, there is, because fuck you, nature. No, fuck you, Shyamalan. You suck as a fucking writer, and you suck as a director, and movies like this are evidence of that. Now let's move past the flimsy bullshit bullshit premise this stupid thing had, let's actually talk about the movie itself. In terms of writing, outside of the fact that the movie makes zero attempt to make the threat interesting, because the threat essentially is wind, another big problem is that we don't have a single interesting character in this entire film. Our three main characters were calling each other by name numerous times over the course of this film. I couldn't tell you what any of their names are, because they're all that forgettable and bland. All I know is that they were played by Marky Mark, Zoe Deschanel, and some kid. That's all I could tell you. I don't even know what the fuck any of their fucking motivations are. I know that Marky Mark plays a fucking scientist. Well, no, he doesn't even play a scientist. He plays a science teacher in high school who is trying to get answers as to why the bumblebees are all vanishing, and expects his class to have the answers. And the closest thing we get to an answer, and the answer that he says is right, is because fuck you, nature. At that point, I should have basically known that this fucking movie was going to get really bad really fast, but I wanted to at least give it the benefit of the fucking doubt. It never got better. There isn't a single character here with any type of personality. Okay, the closest we had to it, and I had to inject personality into this one myself, is when John Leguizamo's character goes off with a bunch of people in a Jeep to go to Princeton so he can try to find his wife. I noticed that the driver was played by Brian O'Halloran, the man who played Dante in Clerks. So I just pretended that it was Dante Hicks driving the fucking Jeep. I had to inject personality into the character, and unfortunately by the time I had that locked into my head, he plows the Jeep into a fucking tree, killing everybody except for Leguizamo, and apparently he also died, because we're then told later that everybody in Princeton is dead. Why? Who cares? Fuck you, nature. Just eat a dick. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Nobody here has any fucking personality. Nobody has anything of interest. And Marky Mark's character continues to come up with theories, and we don't know if any of them are fucking true. Apparently, the scientists, even though they don't know how this thing started, they can tell you the exact minute when it started and the exact minute when it ended, because there's this talk show bit at the very end where they're talking to a scientist, and the guy who is interviewing him asks, "Doesn't it happen to seem weird that this whole thing started at some fucking such time one day, and then ended at some such time the next, and they weren't round hours. It was like 8:47 a.m. one day and 9:53 a.m. the next." Was there some fucknut with a stopwatch just, tracking exactly when suicides started and stopped? I am really curious about this. Or were they basing it on when the big fuck up in Central fucking Park happened? How the hell would they know the exact minute that happened unless somebody was looking at their watch when everybody suddenly stopped moving? None of it made any sense. It felt so stupid and so pointless. Guys, writing in this thing is shit, straight up from start to finish. We do not have a single interesting character. Our plot is fucking awful. The closest thing, guys, we have to tension. M. Night Shyamalan, for whatever baffling reason, thought that he could make wind intense. So we have characters running from wind, and to make it fucking goofier, you actually can physically see the wind as it moves, because they are in the middle of a field with very tall grass, and you can see almost a solid line between where there is wind and where there isn't. So everybody has to run, and you'll see the wind as it slowly moves. And you just see this line of grass as it just falls because of the fucking wind. He tried to make that tense. He tried to make that something to worry about. It was the stupidest fucking thing I think I've ever seen. He tried to make tension out of one person who was caught by the vengeful hand of nature, who decided to turn on a big ass lawn fucking mower and then lie down in front of it. He was trying to make that seem like this big gruesome scene, and I laughed because it was so fucking stupid. Just every single kill is just goofy and lame. The writing here is goofy and lame. Our characters are flat and lifeless. If there was some fucking attempt at a message here, I would like M. Night Shyamalan to write me and tell me what the fuck that message fucking was. Because he failed to actually give it in the movie itself. But hey, at least I noticed that there was some real blatant product placement at the very end, because instead of just looking at this news fucking program as it's being filmed, we're watching it off of a TV, and you can see directly underneath the TV is a PlayStation 2, and there's games all over the fucking place. I saw, like, Grand Theft Auto was in there. There were actually two different GTA games in there. So it's like, okay, so you got paid by Sony and Rockstar and EA, because there were a couple of EA sports titles up there, and I was focused more on that than I was on the fucking lame-ass prick on the TV going, well, we don't know because fuck you, science. Anyway, writing here was fucking awful. I'm not quite sure if I've made that point clear. But what about the acting? We have here a whole bunch of actors who I normally can kind of trust. Marky Mark, I can normally trust. The man at least knows how to put in some level of effort. And Leguizamo normally can put in some effort, but they didn't here. No one did. Guys, okay, I had no hope on Zoe fucking Deschanel, because the bitch just can't act. That's something that is just sort of a known thing. But Mark Wahlberg can act. He didn't try. Leguizamo was in this movie, and he didn't fucking try. Everybody else didn't bother to fucking try. I have a funny feeling that all of them just thought, hey, I get to work with M. Night Shyamalan, and they just signed on without actually looking at the script. And then they read the script and went, are you fucking serious? And were forced to deal with it because they'd already signed the fucking contract. So nobody actually bothered to fucking try, because they probably looked at the script, laughed, and said, okay, now where the hell is the actual script? And then had to stick with the bullshit which was shoveled to them. So nobody here actually tried, and I'm not going to blame them, because if they would have been handed a competent script, they could probably have put some level of effort in. Or perhaps maybe if M. Night Shyamalan knew how to actually fucking direct, it might have actually worked. But I have a feeling that he doesn't, because I've seen 2 films directed by him so far, both of them for this series, this one and The Last Airbender. The acting was shit in both of them. So I have a feeling that M. Night Shyamalan does not know how to fucking direct, and if this and Devil were anything to go by, the fucker doesn't know how to write either. So yeah, acting here is a total lost cause, but I'm not going to blame the actors. I'm going to blame the horrendous script which was given to them. Camera work here is okay, but there is a problem here. Because apparently M. Night Shyamalan wanted you to make damn certain that it has something to do with the fucking trees. So early on, you will see these shots where it's shots of people, and then the camera pulls up, and it just holds on trees. It holds on them for far too long. The only thing which was missing would have been a fucking zoom in, as if to say, look, it's the trees! Because he has to show that there's wind fucking blowing, so all the chemicals on the trees, because fuck you, nature, is flowing through and hitting all the people in Central Park and elsewhere and all this other stupid shit. And that really is a problem in a whole lot of spots in this film, is just that instead of focusing on people or trying to make the movie in any way interesting to watch, there is an unhealthy fixation on pointing at trees in order to show that there is wind blowing, and we're going to get even more lame, goofy deaths within the next minute or so. So yeah, beyond the retarded fixation on trees, camera work here is fine. You could probably have cut about 3 minutes out of this goddamn movie if you'd have cut all of the overlong shots of trees. Just saying. I'm just putting that out there. God, what else is there to really talk about? The score here is fine. It honestly is nothing ultimately special. Our sound mix is fine. There really isn't anything wrong with this movie in terms of sound and lighting and color. So I really can't complain about that too much, guys. The biggest problem here is the script, and the script is such a festering pile that it actually harms the acting, because the actors cannot be asked to work miracles with scripts that are that fucking bad. When all is said and done, am I able to recommend The Happening? No. And I'm going to make this point very clear right now. I don't want to hear, oh but, I'm done watching M. Night fucking Shyamalan movies. Fuck him and fuck his shitbag movies. I don't want to hear from anybody, oh, but you need to watch Unfucking Breakable and Split. I'm like, no, I really fucking don't. I have seen enough shit from him to learn that he cannot act. Or, well, actually, he also had a role in here, too, and all the acting sucked. So, he can't act, he can't write, and he can barely fucking direct. So, I'm done. I'm done with M. Night. I'm done with M. Night fucking Shyamalan, and the rest of his movies can all just go sit in a corner and rot as far as I am concerned. I am not setting foot into another one of his movies because I can see nothing but failure coming. So, yeah, this thing was so fucking awful. It's turned me off of M. Night Shyamalan's movies from here until the end of fucking time. I'm done with them. I do not care. Now, I know there are some people who really like Shyamalan's films, and that's totally fine, and you will probably find a lot here, because it's basically what everybody apparently wants from him, which is pointless horror and a stupid fucking twist and a bunch of other dumb shit. At least to me, it's all fucking dumb. So, if you are a fan of Shyamalan's other films, you're probably going to enjoy this one. And if you are a fan of his work, you probably have already seen this one, and you're probably already bitching in the comment section because I dared hate on the great M. Night Shyamalan's work, and that's fine. I really do not care. But personally, me, there's no way in hell I'm going to recommend this. I can't. It wasn't good. It was not fun to watch. It was not enjoyable to sit through. It was torturous, really. But hey, at least honestly, I tried it. It sucked. At least now I don't have to worry about watching it a second time. Now, The Happening came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was Kari. Please, guys, swing on over to Kari's channel. It actually is a group channel with two other guys, also friends of mine, and Kari is also a friend. I should mention. And they have one of those lengthy YouTube, channels. It's not just a simple channel, name. So if you go down into this, into this video's description, you will find a link. Please, guys, click on that. Swing over there. Check out everything that they've got. Kari, I thank you. I've been sitting on this movie for a couple of years because you sent it back quite a while ago, and I just wasn't sure if I wanted to actually watch it. And I finally sat down and I gave this frickin' thing a chance, and that's 90 minutes I'm never going to get back. But hey, honestly, I would never have known if this thing was any decent at all if you hadn't sent it in. And for that, Kari, I do thank you. You are awesome. Once more, guys, please swing on over and check out her channel. Go check out everything that her and Random and Howard have. That channel is a lot of fun, and they do have a lot of interesting shit over there. Now, I need to go do something else. I need to clear my mind of this. And for some reason, when the whole idea of something minor rising up and fucking with people happened in this film, first thing that popped into my head was not the fucking birds, it was Maximum Overdrive. And I love that fucking movie. And I think I still have the DVD somewhere. I'm going to go find that and watch that, because, frankly, that is a far better movie than this thing ever could fucking possibly be. So, I'm gonna go and watch that. I'm gonna pretend that this son of a bitch never fucking crossed my path, and I'm gonna be a fuckload happier because of that. And with that, my friends, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Base.